All right, get ready, because we are diving deep today.
Into cosmic consciousness.
By Richard Maurice Bucke.
That's right.
You know, you gave us this pretty fascinating book, and you really want to, try to understand the core ideas in it and the implications of it.
Right.
And that's no small feat, considering the depth of this book.
It is a dense read.
Yeah. So we're here to be your guides to the most valuable insights.
I think what I find most intriguing is that Bucke doesn't just, theorize about cosmic consciousness.
Right.
He presents it as a potential evolutionary stage for humanity.
Okay.
Almost like a new faculty waiting to be unlocked.
I love where this is going. So it's not just about being, super smart or spiritually aware or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like a whole new way of experiencing reality.
Exactly. He describes it as a third form of consciousness.
Okay.
So imagine self-awareness suddenly emerging from simpler awareness.
Right.
Bucke argues that cosmic consciousness represents a leap of the same magnitude, but from the platform of self-consciousness.
Wow.
And he uses a really powerful analogy to illustrate this.
Okay, let's hear it. What's the analogy?
So picture a world without life.
Okay.
And then boom, life bursts forth.
Right.
Or the jump from basic animal awareness to human self-reflection.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of revolutions in experience that Bucke is talking about.
Wow. That's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
It is.
But what exactly does this cosmic consciousness feel like?
Well,
Is it like having superpowers?
maybe not superpowers in the comic book sense,
Okay.
but Bucke kind of paints this picture of an awareness of the life and order of the entire universe,
Wow.
a feeling of complete oneness with the cosmos.
Okay.
And it's more than just a feeling. It's coupled with incredible intellectual clarity, intense joy, and a sense of moral purpose, and even a sense of immortality.
Hold on. Immortality.
Yeah.
Like literally living forever.
Not about believing we will live forever in these bodies, but rather experiencing a sense of timelessness, of existing beyond the limits of our individual lifespan.
Okay.
It's a feeling of being part of something eternal.
I see.
And to support this idea, Bucke digs into the lives and writings of figures throughout history who he believes demonstrated cosmic consciousness.
All right. Give me some examples.
Sure.
Who are we talking about here?
Well, some of the names might be familiar.
Okay.
Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad.
Okay.
But he also explores less conventional figures.
Okay.
Like Walt Whitman, Dante, even Shakespeare.
Wow.
And what's striking is the sheer diversity of these individuals.
Yeah.
It suggests that cosmic consciousness can manifest in a variety of ways.
Okay, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
But how do we know this isn't just,
Yeah.
some kind of delusion or
It-
mental illness?
Sure.
It does sound a little out there.
It's a valid question, and Bucke tackles it head on.
Okay.
He argues that unlike mental illness, which often leads to harmful behavior, cosmic consciousness promotes moral growth and self-control. I mean, look at the impact these figures have had on history.
Yeah,
Their insights and teachings have shaped entire civilizations.
that's true.
Plus, there's an uncanny consistency
Right.
in the experiences they describe, even across wildly different cultures and time periods.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It is.
So it's not just about having some mystical experience.
Right.
It's about how that experience translates into a greater sense of purpose
Exactly.
and connection with the world around you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so to understand the potential of this shift,
Uh-huh.
we need to look back at how consciousness itself evolved.
Yes.
According to Bucke,
Right.
he outlines 4 distinct stages.
That's right.
The first stage is what he calls excitability,
Mm-hmm.
which is the most basic response to stimuli.
Most basic.
So imagine a simple organism
Yeah.
reacting to light or touch.
That's it.
That's excitability at work.
That's excitability.
So that's like the foundation, the most basic level of interaction with the world.
Foundation.
Then comes sensation.
Okay.
This is where things get more interesting
It does.
because it involves developing our senses.
Yes.
Bucke uses the term percepts
Okay.
to describe the individual sensory impressions we receive through our senses.
Right.
Think of it like a baby experiencing the world
Yeah.
through sight, touch, taste, and smell for the first time.
Exactly.
So we're starting to build a more complex picture of reality
Yes.
through our senses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we mature, we move into simple consciousness.
Okay.
At this stage, we start grouping those individual percepts into larger concepts, which Bucke calls recepts.
Right.
Think about it this way. A baby might see a tree as a jumble of colors and shapes.
Yeah.
But as we develop simple consciousness,
Right.
we start recognizing that all those individual elements come together to represent the concept of a tree.
That's right.
So it's like we're graduating from simply sensing to actually comprehending the world around us.
Yep.
And then comes the truly remarkable leap to self-consciousness,
Okay.
which Bucke sees as the hallmark of human evolution.
Hallmark.
This is our ability to reflect on ourselves.
Yes.
To think about our own existence as separate from everything else.
Right.
And this self-awareness, this ability to reflect on ourselves,
Yeah.
that's what allowed us to develop language, create art, build societies.
You got it.
But Bucke doesn't stop there.
No, he doesn't.
He sees cosmic consciousness as the next logical stage,
It makes sense.
building upon all the previous stages.
Yeah.
So if self-consciousness was a game changer for humanity,
Yes.
then cosmic consciousness is like
Oh.
unlocking a whole new level.
Think of it that way. Yes.
Right.
It's a pretty bold concept.
It is.
And to back it up,
Yeah.
Bucke draws this fascinating comparison
Okay.
between the development of different human faculties and individuals and across human history.
Okay.
So he looks at things like simple awareness, self-consciousness, tool use, even our sense of music. Okay. And traces their emergence in both individual development and the timeline of civilization.
Okay, I'm definitely sensing a but coming. What's the catch?
Guess what sits at the very top of his comparison as the newest faculty on the scene?
What?
Cosmic consciousness.
Wow, he's making a strong case here.
He is.
And to illustrate this point, he delves deep into analyzing the lives of these historical figures we talked about earlier.
Right.
Searching for clues for evidence of this cosmic sense at work.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we're moving from theory into practice.
We are.
Let's talk about those figures.
Okay.
Where do we even begin?
Well,
We've got Buddha, Jesus, Paul, Muhammad.
take a deep breath.
It's a lot to unpack.
We're about to step into some truly fascinating territory.
All right, hit me with some of the most mind-blowing examples of cosmic consciousness in action.
Okay.
Let's start with Buddha.
Bucke sees Gautama Buddha as a pivotal figure, someone who achieved a profound level of cosmic consciousness.
Okay.
Now, when we talk about Buddha, we can't avoid the concept of nirvana.
Right.
But Bucke suggests that we in the West often misunderstand what nirvana actually means.
So it's not just about extinguishing desire as I was taught in school.
That's a very simplified interpretation.
Okay.
Bucke suggests that nirvana is essentially another term for cosmic consciousness.
Okay.
It's about realizing the interconnectedness of all things,
Right.
experiencing a profound sense of unity with the cosmos,
I see.
you know.
Okay, so how does this relate to the
Wow.
subjective light that we discussed earlier?
Yeah.
Didn't Buddha experience something like that during his enlightenment?
You're exactly right.
Okay.
The descriptions of Buddha's enlightenment often involve an overwhelming sense of light, clarity, and understanding.
Right.
And this, Bucke argues, is a common thread among those who experience cosmic consciousness.
So Buddha wasn't just some wise guy meditating under a tree.
right.
He was tapping into this heightened level of awareness,
Exactly.
this cosmic sense.
That-
And while Buddha may seem like a figure from a world away,
Right.
Bucke finds intriguing parallels when we consider the life and teachings of Jesus.
He does.
Hold on. You're comparing Buddha and Jesus.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
I never would have made that connection.
Despite their vastly different background and cultural contexts,
Right.
both figures emphasize love, compassion, and a sense of connection to something greater than themselves.
Okay.
And they both spoke about a reality beyond ordinary human experience. For
Right.
Jesus, it was the kingdom of heaven. For Buddha, it was nirvana.
So different names, different cultures,
Different name.
but potentially pointing to the same underlying experience of cosmic consciousness.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how Bucke connects the dots.
And he takes it even further.
Okay, go on.
Remember Paul the Apostle?
Yeah.
And his dramatic conversion on the road to Damascus?
Yeah.
That blinding light?
Right.
The feeling of being overwhelmed by a divine presence?
Yeah, that's like the textbook example of a sudden spiritual awakening.
Well, Bucke argues that what Paul experienced was actually entering into cosmic consciousness.
Okay.
The light, the overwhelming presence.
Yeah.
Those are classic hallmarks of the cosmic sense.
So Paul wasn't just changing religions.
No.
He was undergoing a fundamental shift in consciousness.
Precisely.
And remember that intriguing duality that Paul talks about.
Yeah.
The Christ within him.
Yes.
It's as if a new being emerged
Uh-huh.
alongside his ordinary self.
This is reminding me of something you said earlier
Okay.
about those with cosmic consciousness experiencing a split
Right.
between their ordinary self and this expanded cosmic self.
Yes.
That's a recurring theme, absolutely.
Okay.
It's like this new faculty of cosmic consciousness brings with it a new identity.
Right.
A new sense of self that exists alongside the old one.
Okay, this is blowing my mind.
A big idea.
So we've got Buddha, Jesus, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Buck is building a pretty compelling case here. But let's talk about someone who might not immediately come to mind when we think about cosmic consciousness. You mentioned Walt Whitman, the American poet.
I did.
How does he fit into all of this?
Whitman is a fascinating case study.
Okay.
His poetry is full of this feeling of oneness with nature, of embracing the vastness of the universe.
Yeah.
And there are passages where he describes experiences that sound eerily similar to what Bucke describes as cosmic consciousness.
All ears, give me an example.
Well, in his iconic Song of Myself,
Yeah.
Whitman writes, "I am large, I contain multitudes."
Okay.
That feeling of expansiveness, of encompassing all of creation, resonates deeply with the concept of cosmic consciousness.
And didn't Whitman draw a lot of inspiration from Eastern philosophy?
Yeah.
Specifically Hinduism?
He did.
I feel like there's a connection there.
You're spot on.
Okay.
Whitman was deeply influenced by the Upanishads.
Right.
These ancient Hindu texts that explore the concept of Brahman, the ultimate reality, the universal soul. Bucke sees this influence as further evidence that cosmic consciousness transcends cultural boundaries.
Okay, so we're seeing these echoes of cosmic consciousness in both Eastern and Western thought.
We are.
In religious figures and poets.
Yeah.
But what about someone like Dante?
Okay.
His Divine Comedy is all about heaven, hell, and purgatory.
Right.
How does that connect to cosmic consciousness?
Well, Bucke sees Dante's Divine Comedy as a kind of map of the human psyche, with the journey through these different realms representing the different levels of consciousness.
So is he saying that being stuck in hell is like being trapped in a lower level of awareness?
That's one way to interpret it, yes.
And then there's Virgil, Dante's guide through hell and purgatory.
Yeah.
Bucke argues that Virgil symbolizes the self-conscious mind.
Makes sense.
Capable of reason and logic.
Right.
But ultimately limited.
Yeah.
And then Dante meets Beatrice.
Okay.
Who guides him into paradise. Is she the embodiment of cosmic consciousness?
That's precisely how Bucke interprets it.
Okay.
Beatrice, whose name literally means she who blesses or makes happy, represents that higher spiritual awareness, the bliss and enlightenment that come with the cosmic sense.
Wow, that's making me rethink everything I thought I knew about the Divine Comedy.
It is a powerful work.
Bucke is challenging me to see all these historical figures in a whole new light.
And that's the power of this book.
Yeah.
It pushes us to look beyond the surface, to recognize these figures, not just as products of their time, but as potential glimpses into the future of human evolution.
Okay, but let's get real for a second.
Sure.
Not everyone's going to have a dramatic conversion experience like Paul.
Right.
Or write epic poetry like Whitman.
Right.
How can the average person even begin to grasp this idea of cosmic consciousness?
Well,
it feels so abstract and out of reach.
You're right, it can feel that way. And that's where Bucke's exploration of the challenges of expressing cosmic consciousness becomes really relevant.
Okay.
He acknowledges that it's a state of being that stretches the limits of language and our typical ways of understanding the world.
It's like trying to explain the taste of chocolate to someone who's never tasted it before.
Precisely.
Right.
But just because something is difficult to express doesn't mean it isn't real.
Right.
It simply means we might need to look for indirect ways to grasp it.
Okay. I'm liking where this is going.
Yeah.
So how do we catch a glimpse of cosmic consciousness without, becoming a saint or a literary genius?
Right.
What can we do?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And Bucke offers some intriguing possibilities.
Yep.
He suggests that certain experiences, like deep meditation, profound connection with nature, even certain altered states of consciousness, might provide a taste of this higher awareness.
So it's about being present.
Yes.
And paying attention to those moments of awe and wonder. Those glimpses of interconnectedness that we often dismiss in our busy lives.
Exactly.
It's about being open to the possibility that there's more to reality and to ourselves than we currently understand.
That's it.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll each experience that flash of insight, that sudden awakening to the vastness of existence that Bucke describes so eloquently.
Right.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired.
Good.
And maybe even a little bit cosmically conscious myself.
I love it.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to ponder.
I'm sure.
I have a feeling we'll be revisiting Bucke's ideas in future episodes.
I have a feeling you're right.
And for our listener out there, we'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah.
What resonated with you?
Hmm?
What questions did this spark for you?
Right.
Do you believe cosmic consciousness is a real possibility?
Yeah.
Or just a beautiful idea?
Let us know.
Let us know. And until next time, keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning. And maybe, just maybe, keep an eye out for that subjective light. That's it for today.
Give me some clues here.
Sure.
What kind of traits are we talking about?
Bucke suggests a few key indicators.
Okay.
One is a profound sense of moral elevation,
Okay.
coupled with a deep love for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Think of someone like Bartolomé de las Casas,
Okay.
who fiercely advocated for the rights of indigenous people during the Spanish conquest of the Americas.
Right.
Or individuals like Edward Carpenter,
Okay.
a pioneer for social justice and LGBTQ+ rights.
Yeah.
These weren't just activists.
Right.
They were driven by a profound sense of interconnectedness
Okay.
and a desire to uplift all of humanity.
So it's not just about having a mystical experience.
No.
It's about that experience fueling positive action in the world.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And Bucke also looks at the intellectual and creative fruits of these individuals.
Right.
He argues that those touched by cosmic consciousness often produce work that is not only deeply insightful, but also remarkably original.
And often ahead of its time.
It's like they're tapping into some universal source of wisdom and creativity.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And their work frequently challenges conventional thinking,
Right.
pushing the boundaries of what's considered possible.
Okay, so we're talking about people who are morally driven,
Yeah.
intellectually curious, and creatively gifted.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the actual experience of cosmic consciousness?
Right.
Does Bucke give us any clues as to what it feels like subjectively?
He does, and this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
One common element is a sense of overwhelming joy and bliss.
Good.
Remember what Dante called the embodiment of cosmic consciousness?
Beatrice?
Beatrice, which means making happy.
You're right, and we've talked about those Eastern traditions
Right.
that describe a similar state of Brahmic bliss.
Exactly.
So it sounds like there's a profound sense of happiness and fulfillment
Yeah,
that accompanies cosmic consciousness.
exactly. And many individuals describe a feeling of complete unity with the cosmos. A deep sense of interconnectedness with all things.
Okay.
The sense of separateness dissolves.
Right.
And they experience a profound sense of belonging to something much greater than themselves.
Okay, we've got joy.
Mm-hmm.
We've got interconnectedness.
Yeah.
What else does this cosmic sense feel like?
Well, Bucke also highlights a sense of immortality,
Cool.
but not in the sense of living forever in this physical body.
Right.
It's more about experiencing eternal life in the present moment.
Oh, okay.
A sense of existing beyond the limitations of our individual lifespan.
So it's not about escaping death,
Right.
but rather transcending our fear of it
Exactly.
by experiencing a timeless reality.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
And this is where that concept of the subjective light we discussed earlier comes back into play.
Right.
Many individuals report seeing a brilliant inner light
Okay.
during their experience of cosmic consciousness.
Yeah.
A light that seems to illuminate the very nature of reality.
It's like they're seeing beyond the veil of the everyday world, catching a glimpse of how things truly are
Yeah.
at a fundamental level.
That's beautifully put.
Yeah.
And even though these experiences are often fleeting,
Right.
they can have a profound and lasting impact.
Okay.
They can shift a person's values,
Yeah.
their entire worldview,
Right.
their understanding of themselves and the universe.
So it's not just a momentary high,
No.
but a deeply transformative experience
Yes.
that can ripple outward into every aspect of their life.
Precisely. And Bucke believes that as more and more individuals awaken to this cosmic sense,
Okay.
it will have a transformative impact on humanity as a whole.
It's like we're on the cusp of a collective evolutionary leap.
Think of it that way.
This is a lot to take in.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bucke's book is both inspiring and challenging.
Right.
He's presenting a vision of human potential
Yeah.
that's both incredibly exciting and a bit daunting.
Okay, so where does this leave us,
Right.
the decidedly non-cosmic conscious listeners?
Yeah.
What's the takeaway message for us? Are we doomed to wander around in a state of ordinary self-consciousness
I don't think so.
while these enlightened beings bask in cosmic bliss?
I don't think that's Bucke's message at all.
Okay.
He doesn't present cosmic consciousness as some exclusive club
Right.
reserved for a chosen few.
Right.
He believes it's a potential that resides within every one of us,
Okay.
waiting to be awakened.
So how do we awaken it?
Whoa.
What's the key?
Yeah.
Is it meditation?
It could be.
Spending more time in nature?
Possibly.
Reading lots of Walt Whitman?
Maybe.
Give us a secret formula?
There's no one-size-fits-all answer, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I think Buck would encourage us to seek out experiences that help us transcend our ordinary sense of self and connect with something greater than ourselves.
So it's about being present and paying attention to those moments of awe and wonder.
Yeah.
Those glimpses of interconnectedness that we often dismiss in our busy lives.
Exactly.
It's about being open to the possibility that there's more to reality and to ourselves than we currently understand.
That's it.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll each experience that flash of insight, that sudden awakening to the vastness of existence that Buck describes so eloquently.
Right.
Okay. I'm feeling inspired and maybe even a little bit cosmically conscious myself.
I love it.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to ponder.
Good.
I have a feeling we'll be revisiting Buck's ideas in future episodes.
I have a feeling you're right.
And for our listener out there, we'd love to hear what you think.
Yes.
What resonated with you? What questions did this spark for you?
Right.
Do you believe cosmic consciousness is a real possibility?
Yeah.
Or just a beautiful idea?
Let us know.
Let us know. And until next time, keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning. And maybe keep an eye out for that subjective light.
That's it for today. Well, Buck points to some fascinating historical examples.
Okay.
He talks about individuals like the ancient Greek philosopher Plotinus, who described a state of mystical union
Okay.
with the one,
Right.
the source of all existence.
That sounds a lot like what we've been discussing.
Yeah.
This sense of dissolving boundaries and experiencing unity
Exactly.
with something much greater than ourselves.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's someone like William Blake,
Yeah.
the English poet and artist. His work is full of visionary imagery
Okay.
and a sense of transcending the material world.
I can see that. But Blake's art definitely has a mystical quality to it.
It does.
He seems to be tapping into something beyond the realm of ordinary perception.
Right.
Okay.
Buck also delves into the lives of lesser-known figures,
Okay.
like Edward Carpenter,
Yeah.
who we touched on earlier.
Yeah.
He was a true polymath,
Okay.
a poet, philosopher, socialist activist, and early advocate for gay rights.
Carpenter sounds like someone who really embodied the moral and social implications of cosmic consciousness. Absolutely. He believed that this higher level of awareness wasn't just about personal enlightenment.
Right.
It was about transforming society.
Yeah.
Creating a more just and compassionate world.
Okay, so we've explored a wide range of historical examples,
We have.
from religious figures to poets,
Yeah.
artists, and social reformers.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the average person
Right.
who maybe doesn't feel a calling to be a spiritual leader
Yeah.
or a creative revolutionary?
Sure.
Is cosmic consciousness still attainable for us?
That's the heart of the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think Buck would say that while not everyone will experience a full-blown
Right.
cosmic sense awakening,
Right.
we all have the potential to cultivate glimpses of this expanded awareness
Right.
in our daily lives.
So what are some practical ways we can do that?
Yeah.
What can we do to nurture that seed of cosmic consciousness within ourselves?
Buck suggests several avenues.
Okay.
He points to the power of deep contemplation, of quieting the mind and tuning into that inner voice of intuition and wisdom.
So it's not just about thinking harder,
No.
but about accessing a different kind of knowing,
Yes.
a deeper understanding that goes beyond our rational mind.
Exactly. He also highlights the importance of connecting with nature,
Right.
of immersing ourselves in the beauty and grandeur of the natural world.
I can definitely relate to that.
Uh-huh.
There's something about being in nature that makes me feel more connected to something larger than myself.
He also suggests exploring creative pursuits,
Right.
whether it's writing, painting, music, or dance.
Okay.
Expressing ourselves creatively can open us up to new ways of seeing and experiencing the world.
It's like tapping into a source of inspiration that transcends our ordinary limitations.
Precisely. And finally, he emphasizes the importance of cultivating love and compassion
Okay.
for ourselves and others.
That makes sense. It seems like a core element of cosmic consciousness is this sense of interconnectedness,
Yeah,
of recognizing our shared humanity.
absolutely. And he argues that as we cultivate these qualities, we start to shift our perception,
Right.
to see the world through a different lens.
Okay.
We begin to notice the interconnectedness of all things, the beauty and wonder that often goes unnoticed in our busy lives.
So it's not necessarily about having a sudden dramatic awakening.
Right.
It's about cultivating a more mindful, compassionate, and open way of being in the world.
Beautifully put. And who knows, maybe through this process of cultivating these qualities, we might just find ourselves stumbling upon that subjective light, experiencing a glimpse of that cosmic sense that Bucke describes so powerfully in his book.
This has been an incredibly thought-provoking deep dive.
It has.
Thank you for guiding us through the complexities of cosmic consciousness.
You're welcome.
And for making it feel so relevant to our lives today.
I think it is very relevant.
I have a feeling we'll be revisiting these ideas for a long time to come.
Me too.
And to our listener out there, we encourage you to continue exploring these concepts, to experiment with the practices we've discussed, and to see what resonates for you. Keep that sense of wonder alive.
Yes.
And who knows what you might discover